I wake up in my little dormer bed at Queen Margaret University, Edinburgh, and the first thing that kisses my cheeks is not sunlight but the damp, that gray, clinging damp that smells like wet dog and forgotten laundry. It is January, the kind of January that feels like March forgot to die. I breathe in and the air is so cold it scratches the inside of my nose like a cat that never learned manners. This, I think, is what betrayal tastes like. Metallic, throat raw, 120 a month just to park my scruffy Peugeot 206 in a field that still has last year's cow hoof prints fossilized in the mud. They call it campus, but campuses are supposed to feel like Harry Potter, not like a Soviet panellock dropped into a peat bog. I wriggle my toes into socks that never fully dried on the radiator that only works when it feels like it. The radiator coughs like my dedushka did before he passed, and I whisper please just today be warm, but machines like universities have no mercy. I check my phone, 0 bars. The walls are so thick with moisture that even 4G drowns. Imagine that a 21st century university where the internet is a rumor. I need to submit my reflective journal by noon or I fail the module, but the Wi-Fi password is written on a sticker that peeled off sometime in 2014 and now lives in a spider-esque web above the vending machine that ate my last pound and laughed in mechanical beeps. I trudge to the bathroom. The ceiling has a constellation of yellow droplets. I do not ask what they are. The shower head spits in every direction except down, so I do a sad little pirouette trying to catch droplets like a diabetic ballerina. The hot water lasts exactly 43 seconds, then turns arctic. My shampoo freezes in my hair. I walk out looking like a popsicle of disappointment. This is how they welcome paying customers. By turning us into chandeliers of ice. Breakfast is served in the refectory that smells of overcooked cabbage and existential dread. I queue for 27 minutes behind a boy who keeps sniffing his own scarf. When I finally reach the counter, the lady her name tag says Moreg, but her eyes say Gulag slops something beige onto a cracked plate. I ask, polite as Pushkin, is this porridge? She answers by shrugging so hard her whole torso rotates like a tectonic plate. The porridge is lukewarm, the consistency of wallpaper paste, and it tastes like pennies. I swallow 3 spoonfuls because my mother taught me not to waste, but my stomach writes me a complaint letter in real time. I carry the tray to a table that rocks like a drunken sailor. Every chair has a different height, so I sit tilted, spine slowly becoming a question mark. Around me students chew in silence, eyes hollow. We are all here because we believed the brochure that showed laughing teenagers under cherry blossoms. Instead, we got damp concrete and a campus squirrel with mange. I try to imagine the board meeting where someone said, let us charge $92.50 a year for porridge that tastes of blood and regret, and everyone else clapped. At 9 sharp, I shuffle to the physiology lecture in the state-of-the-art annex state-of-the-art if the art in question is depression. The corridor lights flicker like a horror movie that never learned pacing. Inside, the air is so still I can hear my own eyelashes blink. The lecturer, Dr. H, enters wearing a tweed jacket that smells of camphor and broken dreams. He clicks the PowerPoint and surprised the slides are just photographs of diagrams with 0 words. No labels, no captions, just cryptic gray blobs that might be kidneys or maybe overcooked profiteroles. He then proceeds to speak for 55 minutes in a monotone so flat it could level a pancake. He never once points at the screen. I frantically scribble, blob on left important, but my pen runs out of ink halfway, and when I raise my hand to ask for clarification, he looks at me as if I have just...
I look at how sticky the bus window feels while we pass Queen Margaret University, Edinburgh, and maybe you've seen the same thing, right? What I noticed is businesses here are like cages lit in neon. They promise anything to a traveler who only has 2 weeks and a plane ticket home. First type of trap is the little white kiosk near the campus gates that sells official phone chargers. I watched an Italian girl pay 20 for one, her screen still cracked from yesterday's fall. It heated up in her hand. Before she reached the corner, she probably threw it into the next bin, cried, missed her bus, and will leave the city thinking Scotland is just a chain of sparks. The keeper probably counted the coins, grinned, and will keep the box of fakes under the counter forever. Also, every gift shop along the same stretch is like a magician's sleeve full of glass gems. A man on holiday paid $150 for a sapphire pendant yesterday. I saw his fingers shake when he asked for tissue paper. Later, he probably noticed the stone drinking the light like a cheap spoon, felt his stomach vanish, and will post a 1-star review from the airport, already too far away to fight. The owner probably left the receipt sun bleached for weeks, because nobody ever came back. Even the cash machines wear masks. The small convenience store that advertises zero commission at Queen Margaret S. Tram Junction is like a mirror that changes after you smile. My hostel mate wanted 100, pressed yes, got 500 lari worth instead, then saw the printed rate was 4% worse. She trembled at the counter. The worker shrugged, system busy, sorry, love. She probably walked back to her room, undid her suitcase twice to recount coins, and will skip breakfast tomorrow. The machine probably beeps the same tonight for the next backpacker. Tourists, please keep your palms open and look while they weigh your silver. The jewelry kiosk in the student plaza is zero cold inside. Even when summer touches the pavement, lads dream of surprise proposals and still walk away with glass. A tall guy maybe kissed his ring box before showing it to his girl. The metal left a green circle on her skin on the first night. She probably whispered it, "S all right." But her eyes know, and their week will drip with unsaid questions. The clerk probably locked up early, laughing at how soft hope can be. And the worst of them all hides beside the King's Road bus stop, where one little corner gallery sells hand-woven cashmere. The cloth feels like plastic bread when you close your fist. One Australian teacher bought 4 scarves, planned to carry them home like doves of thought. In the hostel, she probably tried to iron the wrinkles out. Stank acrylic filled the corridor, and she rolled them into a ball with a sad grunt, maybe leaving them under the bunk for strangers rather than packing fake memories onto a long flight. The seller probably light bulb counts the notes again. Teeth white, window dark tomorrow noon.
Businesses near Queen Margaret University in Edinburgh are, frankly, a disappointment. If you're expecting quality, consistency, or even basic competence, prepare for a rude awakening. Let's start with Fort Kinnaird. Shopping centers here are an exercise in frustration. The parking is a nightmare, spaces so tight you'll question if cars have gotten wider or human decency has shrunk. Drivers weave through intersections like they're in a demolition derby, and pedestrians, they cross wherever they please, turning every trip into a stress test. Inside, things don't improve. McDonald's staff will stare blankly as you wait 20 minutes for a single McMuffin while cars behind you get their massive orders first. BQ, once a reliable DIY stop, now feels like a graveyard of missing products and indifferent employees. And if you're disabled, forget about mobility scooters unless you enjoy being treated like an inconvenience. Now one spa, once a haven of relaxation, now a masterclass in false advertising. The luxury experience. More like a public pool with delusions of grandeur. Mold clings to shower tiles, sewage scents linger in steam rooms, and rusty screws threaten anyone brave enough to dip into the main pool. The staff, either absent or actively hostile, pay £90 for 3 hours of chaos where Instagram influencers turn the hydropool into their personal photo shoot. Long-term members betrayed. Price hikes with zero upgrades, loyalty rewarded with contempt. The ivy on the square should be a classy affair. Instead, it's a £150 lesson in disappointment. Fish arrives overcooked, sides forgotten, and service so slow you'll wonder if the kitchen is powered by a single tired hamster. Ask for a simple dietary swap like no salmon for a pregnant guest and brace for managerial scowls. Lipstick-stained teacups, just part of the charm. Maggie's Bar Cafe is where student budgets go to die. A coffee and roll one day costs £4.49, the next £6.40, no logic, just vibes.